In the book of 1 Kings chapter 18, we read of Elijah's confrontation with the priest of Baal. An altar was built and the pagan priests were challenged to call for fire from their god. Those familiar with the account will remember that the priest of Baal had absolutely no success. However, after having poured water over the entire altar, when Elijah called upon the Lord, not only did fire consume the sacrifice and the wood, it burned up the stones as well. Everything was turned to powdery ash, just as we find at Sodom and Gomorrah. The book of 2 Peter speaks of a specific time period in the future known as the Day of the Lord. At that time, we're told that the elements shall melt with fervent heat. In order for that to happen, the temperature must reach over 6,000 degrees. Based on these facts, it is apparent that the presence of divine consuming fire was more than sufficient to turn the cities of the plains into ashes, even without the presence of brimstone.
But who may abide the day of his coming? And who shall stand when he appeareth? For he is like a refiner's fire.
In 2001, Wyatt Archaeological Research organized an expedition to the Dead Sea Plain in both Israel and Jordan. The purpose of the visit was to explore and survey various locations on both sides of the Dead Sea, which have in the past been associated by archaeologists with the cities of the plain. Participants included Baxter Miller, Eric Lemke, Mary Nell Wyatt Lee, Mike Hughes, and myself. Previous visits had been made to what is known as the Lasan Marley Formation, or Lasan Peninsula, on the eastern side of the Dead Sea, directly across from the area we believe to be Gomorrah, at the foot of Masada. This time, however, it was the decision of Wyatt Archaeological Research to thoroughly explore all of the Jordanian sites having been associated by others with the cities of the plains. We found our efforts to be greatly rewarding. First, a little history. In the 1920s, the American School of Oriental Research and the Pittsburgh Xenia Seminary under the direction of Albright and Kyle visited the eastern shores of the Dead Sea. They located a site which has now been labeled Early Bronze Age. Albright speculated that Bab Edra was the ceremonial cemetery for the biblical cities of Sodom and Gomorrah, and that the cities themselves were located under the shallow water of the southern Dead Sea. The explorers Rast and Schaub later discovered 4 other cities: Numera, Safi, Fifa, and Khanazir. They too were dated to the early Bronze Age. Once again, speculation was that all these cities were associated with the biblical cities of the plain. Mr. Rast later revised his opinion, suggesting that only 2 of the cities, Bab Edra and Numera, were associated with Sodom and Gomorrah. Others carried the speculation further, stating that Bab Edra was actually the biblical city of Sodom and that Numera was Gomorrah.
This is supposedly a burial tomb. They changed from shaft-type tombs to houses. And evidently there was a wooden roof on this. They found some timbers that were charred. And the story is that this is one of the cities of the plains because the roof burned first.
The Lasan Peninsula is known to Jordanian geologists as the Lasan Marley Formation, which they date to the Holocene period or within the last 10,000 years. The material at this location most closely resembles that found on the other side of the Dead Sea near Masada. However, brittle ceramic-like inclusions are found in the ash. Eric Lemke and Baxter Miller of the Wyatt research team located numerous pieces of brimstone in the ash, identical to those found in Israel.
I found some encapsulated up there.
Really?
And just walking around, I mean, they're just, in a matter of 2 or 3 minutes, bam, bam.
As brimstone and ash are found at the site, the Lasan Peninsula must not be overlooked as part of the whole plain that the Bible says was destroyed. It should be considered, however, that to associate the Lasan with Sodom would require, based on Genesis 10:19, that the cities Gomorrah, Admah, and Zeboim be located south rather than north of that area. No other regions of ash and brimstone have been located south of the Lasan in Jordan. Neither have any other ancient cities that could possibly fulfill the requirements for the cities of the plains been located north of Lasan to our knowledge. On the Lasan Peninsula, the ruins of the Byzantine monastery Al-Qatar was located. Diyar al-Qatar al-Bazani, dated to the Umayyad period in the 6th and early 7th centuries, is thought to have been destroyed by the great earthquake of 749 AD. At approximately 230 meters below sea level, Bab Edra is within the range of elevations at which ash has been found at other locations. The highest level of ash documented by Wyatt Archaeological Research to date is 192 meters below sea level. No ash or brimstone was found at the site, leading the Wyatt team to conclude that it was not associated with the destruction of the plain. Where is the ash? It's not to be found at Bab Edra. At Bab Edra, the Wyatt team witnessed thousands of tombs in which it had been estimated that as many as 500,000 people were buried. Based on the pottery found there, this area has been dated by archaeologists to the early Bronze Age. As for Numera, earlier explorers located a small amount of charcoal at the site. However, no destruction to the extent described in the Bible is to be found. While the remains of a lookout tower can be seen at Numera, there are those who date the tower to the Nabatean time period, much later than that of the destruction of the cities of the plain. Safi and Fifa can be described as regions with isolated cities, having been dated once again to the early Bronze Age. These regions, rising higher and higher above the level of the Dead Sea, include vast fields of fertile soil in which all types of agricultural crops are grown. We found absolutely no evidence of ash and brimstone, just the opposite, vast fields of fertile soil. As for the area of Khanazir, it seems that very little, if any, excavation has been done there. It is located in Wadi Khanazir, a beautiful wadi or canyon of Nubian sandstone, such as that found at Petra. Evidences of a sophisticated water system are still to be seen in the wadi, which is still a source of water for the fertile agricultural area at the mouth of the wadi. Once again, there is no evidence of fiery destruction, brimstone, or ash at Khanazir.